I've seen like muscles and stuff. Like fuck, like when you're like when biceps, forearms are getting bigger, right? You can see your back, my back, right? Like it's amazing to see. Like I never had definition before, right? So it's like you're starting to see that, which is kind of fucking cool. And then just like this is a small thing, but like just like the other day I was grabbing a full propane tank and it just felt like fucking paper. You know what I mean? Compared to like before where I was like struggling with it and like you just get like I know I can do things that I wasn't able to do before. Like I feel the strength, right? So
Dude.
I think that those are some good wins for me. And then my kids don't call me fat anymore, so that's
Oh,
nice.
hell yeah, bro. Dude, I mean, you're down what? I'm looking at your stats right now. February 17, 261.
85-ish.
Dude, April 30th, 35 pounds.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. Still
crazy.
going too, man.
Oh my
Still going
gosh.
too.
Dude, you gotta give me one more win, bro. Like I love hearing this is why we do it, man.
Uh, well, uh, fitting into clothes that I put away, and now I have to rock them again, right? You know what I
Oh my
mean?
gosh, let's
Like,
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it's a good feeling when I like I've had to pop tags on some things because I bought them a long time ago. And thinking that, hey, you know what, you're gonna lose some weight. Don't worry about it, right? You're gonna lose some weight. So, but I never lost weight, and I got actually bigger. So, this like actually being able to wear that kind of stuff, right? You know what I mean?
Is it like a suit or was it?
No, no, just like polos and like jeans and like this random clothing bag actually kind of helped me out too because I didn't have to go shopping,
Oh,
right?
let's go.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So, I mean, like in that sense, like yeah, there's been a lot of good feelings for sure.
that's awesome, bro. Okay, so
Yeah.
here's what's actually happening for your body. Okay, so we're
Yeah.
getting you through a calorie deficit, and we're really controlling like literally caloric intake so that you can lose weight. Now, you lost a lot of weight, bro, right? So we want to make
Yeah.
sure that the next in-body scan, we're looking to see when is that point where you're gonna essentially lose zero fat and zero muscle, because there's gonna be a point. Okay, even if you're in calorie deficit there's gonna be a point in time where you literally cannot remove the fat. Okay, so I'm gonna give you this analogy again because it's that important. Okay, and that's why we
Yeah.
really do what we do, is so that it helps you educate that it's not just like a downward process. Like literally, if I look at your chart for your body fat, it's literally like
Yeah.
this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's literally not a single up flip. It's literally just like,
No, no,
dude.
it's been like I've had like in the last 3 weeks I would say I would have ups in the week, and then like 3 days later, boom, down. Right?
Yeah.
Like it was so, but like yeah, the chart's been pretty fucking like consistent.
Insane, bro. Also that doesn't really happen all that often. But anyways,
No.
I really want you to understand this concept. Your body is like that
Okay.
pizza, okay? And there's gonna be a point in
Yeah.
time if you get through a calorie deficit, you're gonna rip off the pineapples, which is the fat, right? We don't like that stuff. But there's
Yeah.
gonna be a point in time, even if you're on a huge calorie deficit, where your body's gonna hold on to the fat. So when that happens and people continue going to calorie deficit, what's gonna happen is they're gonna start to rip off that pepperoni, which is the muscle mass. If you continue ripping
Uh,
off the pepperoni, which is the muscle mass, what happens to your metabolism?
slows down.
It's going to slow down. Why? Because your capacity decreases. This is where a lot of people that can lose 30, 40, 50, dude, 100 pounds, dude, they just go through that like crazy drop, but they don't look good. They look almost sick. Okay. So we don't want that
Yeah.
to happen
Yeah.
for you. So we need to actually, that's
Okay.
why it's like, hey, when I'm like, hey, get another, you're like, get another in-body scan. Like I
Yeah.
just did one. The reason why is so that there's going to be a point in time. It depends on each person. Like we don't know when it is. It's very individualized where there's going to be a point in time where you're in the calorie deficit and your weight just stays the same. So when your weight stays the same, but you're losing fat, you can still continue doing this, right? But if your weight stays the same, right, and you're losing muscle mass almost, and it's like this
That's not
really
good.
fine line. We need to reverse engineer the process. We need to stop there. We need to increase your calories. Now, if we increase your calories and we don't do it in a very systematic, methodical way, this is what's going to happen. People increase their calories. It's not controlled. There's no data. There's no system. They're not building up their muscle mass. It's just like increase their calories so they freaking yo-yo. They just add all the
Yeah.
freaking pineapples back on. All the fat just goes back on.
Okay.
So they end up going through this process. Some people even do this. They'll do like, like uh, fast or whatever it is, huge calorie deficits. They lose a lot of muscle mass. They lose a lot of weight. They don't actually increase their muscle mass back on. So then their metabolic rate's a lot slower. And then when they start to eat normally, they increase their calories. Their metabolic rate's a lot slower. So they pack on way more fat when they first start. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Big
Definitely.
deficit, lose the muscle mass. lose the metabolism a little bit. And then from there, they eat even like past maintenance, or they eat like 3,500 calories, which is the average American, and they just gain way more fat because that deficit, that gap is so big. So when that actually happens for us, we're going to increase your calories, but we're going to do it in a systematic way where it's very controlled, right? Where we increase literally your calories and your protein to that perfect number. And this is what's going to happen. Your fat cells, like the number of fat, the fat in your body, hopefully that stays the same or increases a little bit. But what's going to happen is we're going to really go through a muscle building process where we increase all your pepperoni. Now, if we increase all your pepperoni, your muscle mass, right, you gain a lot more muscle mass, but your fat stays the same. What happens to your body fat percentage?
It'd be less, I believe. Yeah,
It'd be
right.
less. Why? Because if you
Yeah,
think about it as a circle, that pizza,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Pineapples stay the
yeah,
same, but now you're adding
yeah,
more pepperoni, your body fat percentage will
yeah.
start to decrease.
Right,
This is where our clients
right.
are literally like, bro, what the hell? I'm eating so much food. How am I losing fat? Dude, you're not losing
Mm.
fat. You're just losing your body fat percentage because you're gaining a lot more muscle mass. So when that
Understood.
actually happens for you, we'll tell you what to do next. It's a very systematic process. We're going to include a few more supplements for you. What really,
Okay.
really is quite important for the muscle building phase is this. We're going to be using a metric called HRV. Okay. So HRV is important, and I'm going to educate this for you because this is the thing that's going to help you live a long time too. Okay.
Okay.
HRV is basically the opposite to heart rate. So that means if
Yeah.
your heart rate is pretty high, it means you're pretty stressed out. Cortisol levels up to here. There's no way you can perform. You're
Okay.
not optimal at all, right? So if your heart rate's up here, your HRV is going to be inverse. So it's low.
Okay.
So if
Yep.
it's low, what's going to happen? Because it's low, right? You need to think about like what can we do to increase your HRV so that it can trend upwards. As it starts to trend upwards, your CNS, which is the thing that's going to help you like function better, your cortisol level, all
Yeah.
these factors, testosterone levels impacted from all this stuff, right? We need to find a way to increase your HRV. The reason why your HRV is so important is basically number one thing is longevity. Like they looked at like a lot of studies, and if you have a higher trending HRV, it allows you to live longer because you're less stressed. Okay.
Gotcha.
But more importantly for us, like the body composition side of things, well, it's not more important. But if your HRV is trending upwards, you're optimized. It means you can push harder in the gym. Your CNS is well rested. You're in a really, really high performing functioning position, right? Which means then you're gonna get way more gains in the gym. If
Mhm.
you're recovered well, you're sleeping well, you're doing all these good things, dude, at the UFC, one of the first things we would do for all our clients, our athletes, is how well can we optimize HRV through sleep, like literally sleep or food or training, all that stuff, right? Everyone's training at the highest level there. They're all like kicking ass. So like what's the big
Yeah.
difference? How well can someone actually recover? How well are they managing their CNS? So we want to get you to that level where we can start to really introduce ways to increase your HRV over time so that you can pack on more muscle set, so that you can increase your metabolic health, but ultimately for you to have that longevity side thing as well. That's what we really want to focus on.
Okay.
Make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so that's basically like my really quick what's it called? Lecture on like what's happening with your body. Obviously, we're gonna
Okay.
still kind of work together to like make things optimized. So over the next few weeks, you're doing really, really well. Like we don't really need to change anything. You're hitting home runs like week after week. So we just need to
Yeah.
continue doing that. But then when that point starts to diminish, we're gonna know because we're gonna have the scans to be like, this is actually what's happening. You're losing a little bit more muscle mass, like maybe 1 pound. So that's when we increase your calories. Okay.
Okay. So when do you want me to go to the InBody like next week?
So you did it last like 2 weeks ago, right? April 10th.
Yeah, April 11th, almost a month ago. In a week, it'll be a month.
I would probably want you to do it in 2 weeks.
So like mid-month kind of thing.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks is pretty
Okay.
good because I want to see how long you
Okay.
can. Dude, I want to get you losing 40 pounds in like, what was it,
Yeah.
February, in three
That's my
months?
goal. Again, 40. That was my second goal of 40 pounds, right? So if I
Yeah,
can hit that,
dude.
that'd be sick.
I think in 2 weeks, you're gonna lose. So in 2 weeks, it's gonna be our 3 month anniversary. That means you're gonna lose 40
Yeah.
pounds in 3 months.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
gonna be
that's a
sick.
fucking good goal. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
reassess. And then if you do lose a little bit more muscle mass, we're just going to pack on a lot more muscle in the next muscle building phase
Right. Right.
and make things a lot more sustainable for you right now, too. Because the process is like this. We want to get you to where you're currently at, body fat percentage level. We want to get you to 15. You can hit
Yeah.
15, bro. Dude, you can hit
Yeah.
10% body fat if you really wanted to. But we really want to get you to a place where you're at 15. You can choose where you want to be. And then we want your new like baseline zone to be around 12 to 15. This is very sustainable. I'm usually around like 10 to like 14 year round, like just autopilot. I want your new autopilot to be in that zone, but we can't
Yeah.
get you to maintain that until we can get you there. Once you're there,
Yeah.
completely different ball game, super different, right? What's going to get you from, not saying this to you, but like 40% to like 20% is different from like 20% to like 15%, 15%
Right.
to
Right.
10, completely different game, right? So
Yeah.
depending on where you want to go, that's where we're going to like really lead you towards that space.
That makes sense.
Cool,
That makes
man.
sense. Cool. Okay. No, man, that's awesome. I'll just keep at it, and then a couple weeks go do the scan, and hopefully we get some more progress. That'd be awesome.
Let's go, baby. Crushing it, brother.